It was a very difficult meeting. It was highly emotionally charged. There was a number of colleagues were very, very upset during the meeting, including myself. And there were a number of threats made. There were a number of votes that were obviously crucial in determining the future of the Labour Party. And there were a number of incidents which I thought were not acceptable.
It's obviously very distressing, and thank you for talking to us in the light of what you clearly feel about it. When you say there were threats made, can you expand on that a bit?
Yeah, so when we met, there were a number of papers put in front of the NEC. One of those was a letter that had been sent to the party's General Secretary threatening legal action against the party and the National Executive Committee, High Court action, if Jeremy was not allowed to go onto the ballot paper automatically. So High Court action, the letter also indicated that if the NEC decided to conduct their business by secret ballot, that they would seek court orders to reveal the results of secret ballots, and also that the Labour Party's General Secretary would be held legally liable, personally legally liable for that High Court action.
Do you think
there were a number of other incidents? So, for example, Andy Burnham presented to the National Executive Committee a proposal for mediation, and at the end of his statement, he said that if the NEC did not adopt his proposal, that the Shadow Cabinet would have to meet later that day to consider the legal advice that had been put in front of the National Executive Committee, the governing body of the Labour Party. He was effectively saying that the Shadow Cabinet would consider legal advice on our decision.
The ballot on whether or not Jeremy Corbyn should be automatically entered for the leadership was a secret one. To what extent was that decision driven by people's worry about the sorts of things you're talking about, people's worry that if the ballot was open, they would be threatened and intimidated?
That was the whole debate about whether or not there should be a secret ballot. I want to say that I am very happy as a member of the NEC to be held to account for any decisions that I take on the NEC, and I will release my vote when I send out my NEC report, and I'll send that out with an explanation of my vote. The difficulty was that a number of us and a number of my colleagues in that room had been subject to bullying and intimidation prior to the meeting taking place. Certain groups within the party published my personal contact details online. One of my colleagues has just recently had a stalker sectioned. She was in tears. She begged the leader for a secret ballot to protect her and also other colleagues who had received intimidating and bullying behaviour. And the thing that really upset me about that meeting was that the Labour Party leader voted against the proposal to have a secret ballot to protect colleagues.
So just to be clear about what you're saying with that last comment, he of course, yesterday, as you'll remember, spoke out against intimidation and violence in the campaign, but you feel that when it came to it and when the crucial decision has to be made, he didn't back something that would have protected people.
That's exactly. That is the most upsetting thing for me as a member of the NEC. I know that Jeremy has consistently spoken against bullying behaviour, and I applaud him for that, and I respect that. But when it came to the vote to protect colleagues taking an extremely difficult decision that would determine the future of our party, he voted against the single thing that he could have done to protect those colleagues.